Welcome. It is Breakfast Leftovers. I'm Leigh, and this is my podcast. It happens every single day. I'm on YouTube. I'm also on Podbean, so you can check me out, and on the socials as well. What's up? Maybe it's the first time that you actually listen to my podcast, and welcome. If you're a first timer, welcome. You are more than welcome to enjoy the party with us, because it's really gonna be fun. Yay! I totally did not plan that, but it did rhyme, right? But you were like expecting an unknown or an us kind of sound going on there, right? So it is Breakfast Leftover, and I'm Leigh, and welcome again. It could be a good morning, it could be a good night, it could be a good evening, it could be whatever you want it to be. Basically, this is the podcast where I get to munch while having a conversation with you, because I do not like to eat alone. But this morning I woke up so hungry. You know when you wake up like super duper hungry? I woke up extremely hungry this morning. I want to do something quickly. Oh, okay, I'm coming. I'm almost done doing it. Just hang on. Give me a second. I think I got it. I'm not quite sure though. Just hang on. I'm trying to sort out my food here. Like it doesn't burn. So let me switch that off so you can still hear him in the background. But I'm starving. Like I'm starving. And but anyways, I woke up really, really hungry. And have you ever wondered what causes you to wake up really, really hungry? Well, that's coming up on today's podcast, as well as hang on a second. Alright, I'm back. Whew. So if you're wondering like what causes us to wake up super hungry, like early in the morning, I'll let you know all about that. And then the other thing I'm also gonna give you like the lowdown on is, remember like we started talking about these conversations that have to happen when you're dating somebody or you're about to date somebody, and it's just uncomfortable to bring them up. But the thing is, we have to talk about it because they make the relationship stronger and makes the relationship better. So that's still coming up on today's podcast. The other awesome thing that's also coming up in today's podcast is I'm giving you a very cool South African recipe being a Mondandag. Yes, today Mondandag, the 14th of February, Wellington's Day. I know I'm not very festive, am I? Meh, doesn't matter. It's because we did the whole festive thing already last week, you know. Like I got it in my system, and on the day it's gone. I'm like one of those people. It's like I look forward to my birthday so much. I tell everybody about it, you know, the invitations. I'm excited. And on the morning of my birthday, I literally just wake up like, oh, it's that day. You know, I'm like that. It's not so awesome. It's not Uber, but hey, that's just how I am, okay? Like, I get to the climax, and once I get to the climax, it's like there's nothing else beyond that wall. So it's like, what is the goal, really? I mean, because after all, last week we learned about, what did we learn about again? I know you remember, because you're an avid listener. Come on, let's help the other. That's what we learned. We learned love languages, all 5 of them, and other awesome things as well. So like I said, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the reason why we kind of wake up very, very hungry on some days. And it's not cool waking up hungry. It's the most uncomfortable feeling for me, because sometimes you find like your eyes are open, and that's what happens to me. I wake up in the morning, my eyes open up before my mind wakes up. My eyes are already open. It's horrible like that. Oh, somebody's yawning and I just had to see it. I always find that so miraculously, awesomely weird. But we're also going to find out exactly what causes that, because that's what we do here. We find all these weird random things, and we get to the nitty-gritty of it. So I'm going to tell you what I'm eating as soon as I make it. It's funny, I've got all the ingredients here now, except the plate and the knife and the cup. But everything is close. And I don't want to go back there again. I don't want to leave you again for a long unnecessary time. I feel like I'm just not being cool to you by doing that. Oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? You know what? I know my daughter. She's been around. She's been around the whole day today on Wellings. So I'm thinking when she comes in, I'm just gonna ask her to get me all those things so that I don't have to, disrupt this conversation that you and I are both having. You understand? So there's also some very cool stuff that's also gonna come up today. Is I'm gonna basically break it down to you. The purpose of motivation. What is motivation? I know it may seem like you know it, because come on, it's motivation. Everything is all about motivation. Getting out of bed is about motivation. Wearing high heels instead of flip-flops that day, it's all about motivation. Like taking a walk or even going to the gym, it's all about motivation. So basically we need this thing when you think about it, because all the very cool things and all those wow power moments that we have in our lives, it's because of motivation. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have that discussion and find out exactly what is motivation. I know I can't stop doing that. I literally tell myself stop saying motivation like that, but then I can't. It's weird, right? But I really, really tell myself deep inside, like, you gotta stop saying motivation. See, I'm doing it again like that, and I can't help it. It needs to get out of me. So yes, that's what's coming up today on Rosie and Breakfast Leftovers. And I'm gonna go straight into what is motivation, and then I'll tell you that very, very cool, easy recipe that you can do like with your family during the week, and it's South African. And if you're from another country, welcome. Hey, how's it? Tukhande, Dumela, Ralocha, Sanbonani. That's just a few languages I can speak. But honestly speaking, like, motivation is just one of those things, okay, that we need. We need it on a day-to-day base. We need it to get out of our comfort zone, really. We need it to explore. We need it for basic education, literally. Now, it is a word that actually is derived from motive, which means like needs and desires, wants, or even drives within like a person. Now, it is a process of stimulating yourself and other people to actions to accomplish any goal. And especially in the work goal context, the psychological factors stimulating the person's behavior can be from the desiring of money, it can be success, it can be recognition, it can be job satisfaction, it can be teamwork, it can be a whole bunch of things. Now, one of the most important functions of management is to create willingness amongst the employees to perform in the best of their abilities. So therefore, the role of a leader is to arouse interest. Yeah, I know I said arouse. Get your mind out of the gutter, even though I put it in there. In performance, okay? Now, this is basically in performance of employees in their jobs. So the process of motivation consists of, now, these are 3 stages. You can note it, or you can note it with your mind by truly listening and giving me your complete attention. And these 3 stages are: number 1, a felt need or drive. Number 2, a stimulus in which needs have to be aroused. And number 3, when needs are satisfied, the satisfaction or accomplishment of goals. All sounds so dirty, but it's not. It's real. It's relative. Therefore, we can say that motivation is a psychological phenomenon, which basically means needs and wants of a person, myself, you, people, have to be tackled by framing an incentive kind of plan. Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, you are moving motive. You are moving towards the direction of what you find is something you need, something that is you desiring or you wanting, or that is driving you from within, and that's where motivation is. Now, I found that as a motivational speaker and a career guidance counselor, as well as a person to help you with anything, whether it is your clothing, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your business, whether it doesn't matter what it is, in consulting within the inside and your outside. You understand what I'm saying? What I found was that we are all capable of doing whatever it is that we want to do. We are all capable of doing whatever it is that that we need to do. But the only reason why we do not do it is because we're not really motivated in doing it. So it becomes like, for example, you feel like you don't need it. You haven't felt the need for it. You can imagine, for example, let me give you a solid example. For example, myself right now, and let's just say, do you remember the last time you were hungry? Think about the last time you were hungry, like really, 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 really hungry. Remember that last time you were hungry. I'm making myself even more hungry at talking about when I was hungry and when you were hungry. But imagine that time you were extremely hungry. Now, at the time where you were extremely hungry, before actually satisfying that hunger, you had this feeling inside you that was like, I need to eat something. I have to eat something. And it didn't matter whether you made it or you bought it, but you just had this vicious need within you to create something in order for you to eat, to satisfy. Okay, daughter's here. Okay, give me milk, please, in the fridge, and then pour it in a cup. So my daughter's just arrived. I told you, I knew she was going to do this. And I'm now not going to do all the other things that I said I was going to do. So I'm just going to have bread with milk. And put all these other things in the fridge. Put everything else in the fridge. I'm just going to have this because I don't want to interrupt this awesome conversation that I'm having with you right now. So as I was saying, like, imagine yourself completely being very hungry like you were, and before you were satisfied, do you remember how you had to eat something, and when you ate something, all that hunger was gone, and the thing that was pushing you happened to be to satisfy that hunger. So that's exactly what it is. Now, when you feel less motivated to do something that you know that you need to do anyways, as we find ourselves in a situation and we find ourselves in a place whereby which we are now forced to change the circumstances, we are forced to change the outcome. And then if we don't change the outcome, I'm talking in hand because I don't want our discussion to be like, mother-daughter out there. And I'm telling you to keep quiet as well so that it doesn't also, bounce back. So that's what's happening. I'm busy interacting with my daughter in the background here. So we always find that we need to be driven. We find that we need to be forced. We find ourselves needing to be motivated. And we find that even without somebody motivating us, or without a circumstance that causes us to be motivated, we actually have the power and the ability to do all of this. But because we do not have that hungry feeling yet, because you can imagine when you eat food and you're full and you're satisfied, and somebody comes along with something that you definitely wanted and something that you were definitely craving. Here's a tip. Every time you pour milk, always shake the bottle. Always shake the bottle. Always shake the bottle. If it's a carton, always shake the carton. It doesn't matter what it is, but always make sure that you shake it. I said take everything and put it in the fridge. So what would happen is you would need nothing because you're already full. You're already satisfied. Your stomach is already satisfied in a sense. So this is very distracting, having my daughter in the background and she's busy talking and talking and talking. But anywho, you can take that or do what I'm doing and go when you're done. And don't make noise when you shut the door, please. Or in fact, doesn't matter. So anywho, I'm gonna eat now. I'm really hungry. I can't help it. How you end up having something that pushes you towards doing that thing that you need. And that's the irony. That's what I always find so strange, because you need the food. You're the one that needs to be full. You're the one that needs to be satisfied. You're the one that needs all of these things, but yet, for some odd reason, you're still holding out and holding back. So sometimes when it comes to this reality of motivation is that keep listening to Rosie on Breakfast Leftovers. I will make sure that you end up doing what you need to do anyways, because that's what this show is about, really. Just to get you to do the things that you know you want to do, but you just feel less motivated to do it. And I'm here to remind you, and I'm here to tell you, like, look, go and do it. Just go and do it. Move. Go move mountains. Be the best you can be. You understand what I'm saying? Don't hold back on anything. It's always better to just continuously, honestly speaking, continuously trying and succeeding and moving forward. And even if you're not the kind of person that wants to move, and because maybe your work is already demanding of you, but at least make sure that you get the things that you enjoy out of life as well. You understand? It would really suck if you were not. It would really suck if you were not, getting anything. It would really, really suck. So if you're not getting anything out of it, then it's terrible. So you're gonna cut your finger. Did you even wash it? Did you wash it? Yes, did you wash it? Go wash it. Anywho, as I'm having a conversation, and this is exactly what I didn't want to do. Have a conversation with you, with her, and then it would completely throw us out of track. But anyways, good forever getting in there. That's the beauty about a podcast, right? There's no editing. I'm not gonna bleep that out. This is real life. This is Roseanne on Breakfast Leftovers, eating bread and milk, and there she is also trying to eat something that's not what I prepared for her, but I let her to be independent. I mean, come on. Imagine if you ate what somebody wanted you to eat all the time. That would just be horrible. What would be the point of that? So I let her experiment and do her own stuff. And you're going to cut your finger. Like, just give it here. Boom. So, now... So now, I didn't want to do this at all. At all. But that's why I prepared something different for her to munch on. And now, it wouldn't bother me. But here I am, doing something about it. Just eat everything. Eat everything there. Like, don't leave anything. Just eat everything. My goodness. So, weren't you at the park or something? Hunger. See, this is what I was saying. Like, with hunger, you can't choose, you can't decide. It's there. It's this feeling, and you just gotta make sure that it's, satisfied. So, talking about satisfying food and feelings, I did tell you that I've got this amazing recipe. It's a very nice, easy, quick meal kind of thing to make. Because first and foremost, let's be honest, most of us here in South Africa, we have programs that are already set for a certain time. And some of us, well, let's face it, we get stuck in traffic. And some of us, when we get home, the last thing we want to do is stand over a plate for more than 30 minutes. That's already draining and it's life consuming. So therefore, what I'm going to do is this for you. I'm gonna give you this awesome, it's called a South African yellow rice. It's very simple and it can be ready within like 30 minutes. And it basically includes raisins and butter. There's some yellow rice. And it's also a perfect example of weekday meal. That's what, us SANs basically enjoy and like to munch on. And it's easy to make. It's easy to make. You can either buy yellow rice or you can even make your own yellow rice using turmeric. And then you can add all these other vegetables to it. You can add dinawa, like butter beans. You can add that also onto it, which is also very awesome. Add some flavor in there. You can add some butter, like I mentioned. You can add some rama. You can add some fennel leaves. You can add some Italian spices in there. That's how we roll, You can be completely creative with it because, all honesty, like, it's really simple. You just want to put everything in there. You just want to eat as quick as possible. And you can serve it with anything you want. And if you, like my daughter, you can eat it plain because that's what she likes. She likes it plain. She just likes it the way it is. I mean, my daughter can even eat rice on its own. When you've made this amazing chicken stew, and she'd be like, can I just please have rice? And it's like, okay, how about the vegetables? It's like, no, just the rice. It's like, how about a little bit of sauce? Like, no, just the rice. And I was like, okay, fine. Well, I usually say it's okay, but then I don't let her. I end up dishing out extra. But it's only for the following days when there's like leftovers. Then I let her eat it on its own, just to get it finished. She clears it out for me basically. Yummy, yummy bread with milk. Yummy, yummy bread with milk. So, being the month of love, and being Wellington's Day, so how many like Valentine's cards and awesome stuff did you get? Like, did you get a will you be my Valentine? Did you get like a I love you? Did you get like a back rub? Did you get like a neck massage? Like, what did you get on this time of Wellington's Day? Did you spoil somebody? Maybe you're the one that actually did something for somebody, which is so sweet. And it's needed in the world to spoil people, let's face it. Well, it makes people happier and more lively, and it makes them enjoy life on their own. So I'm sorry, I'm not gonna help you with anything now. Your timing to eat is terrible. So, and knowing my daughter, she's probably wanting food because all the other kids left the park when they were hungry, and she was probably hungry ages ago, but she didn't leave because she's addicted to playing. I have never one of those kids. I always knew when I was hungry. When it was time to eat, it was time to eat. My stomach was like the perfect thermometer. It was like, it felt empty or something. It was like the perfect gauge, rather. The moment it felt empty, it was just like, go home. It doesn't matter whether you're inside a game. It doesn't matter who you're with. It's time to eat. It's time to eat. Go home and go eat. So this generation now, they wait for their parents to call them, hey, it's time to eat. No, don't play that game. You know when it's time to eat. I mean, it's just stomach for crying out loud. These kids sound probably like a futuristic me, because I don't believe that I just said that, honestly. No. With that said, what was I saying? I'm telling you now. Hunger's got me dizzy, man. Eating this bread and amazing milk. It's fresh milk. Like fresh milk from a cow. Not from the shops, then, no, it's fresh milk from a cow. That's obviously been, worked out with all those stuff, and then it comes to us. But oh my goodness, it's delicious. And honestly, milk is just one of those things that From the day we were born, we just have had this love and taste for it, you understand? So, ooh, I love this song. So anyways, I didn't even tell you about today's playlist. How rude. So far, you've heard some Rufus, Wainwright, Semisonic, Sinead, O'Connor, the Stereophonics have been here. And before this, it was 2 Weeks by Grizzly Bear. And right now it's Hosea. And this one's called NWFMB. It's a very cool song, honestly. Heard it first time a few weeks ago. Now I can't stop getting enough of it. It's just one of those songs that has memories that are awesome and more awesome. Just planted in your head through subliminal messaging. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I did mention that there are conversations that we need to get into within a relationship, and this are needed. They may be uncomfortable, they may be uneasy, but in reality, it's something that needs to be done. And I personally am one of those people who believes that being open-minded is cool, but being open in your communication is even better. Now, as promised, that we've been doing this, and I believe that today could be our last one, because every single day I've just been giving you tips on these very uncomfortable situations and conditions that we basically face on a day-to-day. But the moment we open ourselves to it and just let it be, it actually strengthens our relationship. And one of these, and like for example, yesterday I told you about meeting the parents as one of the things that definitely is an awkward thing to get through, but once done, your relationship and your spouse's relationship, you become close because you've already crossed that hurdle. And also in the past, we also spoke about saying like what's in your mind. That was also last week Friday. And then having your first argument, it's also a very good thing, because if you can get over that hurdle, you feel like, okay, this is real, this is legit now. You weathered the storm, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be here. You understand what I'm saying? So yay. Now today we're gonna have this conversation, and it can start off like that if you want, between your spouse and yourself. And maybe you are single and you're looking, but you also feel like these are things that you need to talk about before it becomes serious, which, by the way, I think it's brilliant if you have that mentality. It changes a lot of things completely. And for example, what it would do is you would block certain things that would have been coming in your relationship because you delayed this conversations. But now, because those conversations are hurried along, in a retrospect of the word hurrying, but the moment you do that, that's when you start realizing that, oh, okay, boy, am I in trouble, because I could have spoken about this before I felt these feelings. This could have been out of the way before these feelings were had, but then it's not. And the problem is, it's because you have been delaying these awkward, uncomfortable conversations that have the ability to strengthen your relationship. I'll be back just now. So, I'm back. Now, this is one of those uncomfortable conversations that we're going to be having a little chat about today, and that is actually talking about kids. Now, there's actually so many people that don't talk about this and just assume that their partner does or does not want kids, and even believes that they know when their partner wants kids. Now, this is very funny, and yet you'll actually want to have a heart-to-heart in order to truly know what you both want. Can you imagine being with somebody and you want kids, and they have no interest in kids whatsoever? and you've been dating for 2 years, and both of you still don't know this about each other. It's terrible, right? So, so basically, what would happen? I'm very finicky when it comes to mayonnaise. How finicky are you when it comes to mayonnaise? I'm very finicky when it comes to mayonnaise. I feel like people who eat mayonnaise, there's two kinds of people. There are people who eat mayonnaise with respect, and there's people who eat mayonnaise with disrespect. The people who eat mayonnaise with respect, they take the amount that they need and they finish it. Okay? And nothing stays on the spoon that they used, or the fork, or the knife that they used in, hey. Put it back. And then what happens is somebody's running away here with extra cheese. You can see I was about to make a really amazing meal. But anywho, child, please just leave. I'm begging you. You're killing my chops here, man. Like, you know how gorgeous you are. I can't take my concentration away from you. But finally, my daughter's left. Yay! Can finally concentrate now. That was mad difficult. She's like doing I've been behind the mic, okay, since 2009. That's a long time. I've been behind the mic since 2009. And I never once got distracted behind the mic. Never. Ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. Today was the first time. Like a bomb could explode outside and people could like be running. And I'm still going to continue with my conversation here. But wow. This is the first time in like more than 13 years? I've been distracted behind the mic. My daughter, she has a lot of power over me. That's guaranteed. I can't believe it. So anyway, we've been talking about those uncomfortable things. Oh, should I continue with the mayonnaise thing? So you find like people who don't lick the spoon or the fork and whatever, and they waste the mayonnaise. And it's so annoying because mayonnaise should like be eaten. All of it. It shouldn't stay in the plate. Well, in my opinion. So when people do that, it really, honestly, it really basically punches my tits. I won't lie. I don't like that. Mayonnaise, you must eat it all. You must lick the spoon. If it's a fork, you must lick that fork. You gotta just use it all. There must be nothing left. You know, except that which is left on the plate after you literally try to get every single thing off. And the food's finished. That's the only time. Those little thin lines. Those little thin lines. Do you understand? Those little thin lines. That's what's allowed to be left. Of mayonnaise in your plate. Shouldn't be like lingering on a spoon. Especially like on the spoon. That just makes me angry. You know? So that in case you were wondering why I was saying, lick it off, just lick it off. I was telling my daughter to make sure that she uses all that mayonnaise. 7-year-old. So anyway, woo! Let's reset for a second. It's Breakfast Leftovers. I'm Leigh and welcome. Hope you're good. Hope you're fantastic. Hope you're great. And right now I'm giving you these tips that can enrich and make your relationship really strong. They're guidelines to open your eyes, to grow your relationship, It may be very uncomfortable topics in the first place, but in reality, these are uncomfortable topics that will make your relationship solid like a rock. Do, do, So it would do that. You understand what I'm saying? And in reality, you want your relationship to be solid like a rock. In that way, what happens is you growing, they growing, y'all are growing together, and guess what? Then you can live, beautifully and happy together, starting from this moment on in Wellington's Day on the 14th of Feb 2022. That's what I can do. So we spoke about talking about kids, which has been one of the most important things. It's uncomfortable, but it's best that you talk about it, get it out of the way whilst it's still soon. And you got to be very tactical in bringing this conversation. You can go to a park, maybe something romantic, and when kids are playing over there, you can be like, kids, do you like them? You can like that in passing, instead of saying, I want babies, and then you freak the poor person out of their mind, and they're like, I don't even know you that well, and already you're telling me, you like babies. So you can start off with the question like, kids, hey, do you like these things? Have you ever wanted to have? Do it like in passing, like it's nothing. And then that's how it's going to generate, Another thing that is also very awkward and probably not as awkward as the one that I'm saving for last, because I'm going to save the best for last. The most awkward, uncomfortable thing that one can possibly have in a relationship talking about. This is probably the most uncomfortable, and I'm going to talk about that last. So, but right now, it's actually talking about insecurities. Talking about insecurities to some might be the most difficult thing to actually do in a relationship, and to get that out of the way. I mean, it can be tough to let your guard down and be honest about your insecurities. But even though it may feel weird, this is such an important thing to do when it comes to strengthening a relationship, okay? You might even, for example, want to talk about any jealousies you have, in making the decision to talk about your partner. I mean, you're also basically showing them that you are on their team, and that when you are having something on your mind that it is bothering you, no. You can openly discuss it in a rational, sit down until I'm finished. Openly discuss it in a rational and calm way, rather than actually setting it fast, letting it fester rather, and build resentment for a basically, very frightening future and a big fight that could happen in the end. And this can happen where you keep certain things to yourself, you keep certain things without talking about it, without addressing it. Maybe you're the kind of woman who's jealous. Maybe you're the kind of guy that's jealous. Close the door. And you don't tell that person that you're a jealous person. So what happens is, eventually, everything she does is just loud. It's like a giant in a 7-year-old body. I don't understand how that happens. So, for example, like, you don't want to talk about all these things. Like, I'm jealous at the, that girl. You don't have to necessarily say the words "I'm jealous," but you can say things like, "Oh, that girl at your work. When the way she talks to you, and she's all smiley and stuff like that. It's weird." You don't have to say I'm jealous. You can just say it's weird. I find it very weird. You understand? And even if you haven't met those people, you can easily just go up to that person and say, well, like the guy, those kind of guys who speak and hug you and touch you, hang on your shoulder. Like, I don't like that. Like, I feel like you should be touched only by me. Those are the kinds of stuff that you need to talk about. Those insecurities. It needs to be out of the way, and it needs to be let known, like, as soon as possible. It's something that shouldn't linger, and it's definitely something that you don't want to entertain for a time that's reasonably longer than it actually needs to be entertained. You understand what I'm saying? So, for example, it would be that kind of thing whereby you would kind of tackle this issue. You would then obviously talk about this thing way before the time comes, so that when it does actually happen in reality, then you've already dusted it and gotten it out of the way. And that way, it makes your relationship stronger, and then it makes your talking with one another even better, and it makes the trust levels that you have actually increase, because that's what you did. You went by and did something that is more I'm being distracted today. It's like I feel like everybody's out to distract me. His wife. Now I'm really distracted. 13 years behind the mic, and I've never been distracted as I have today. Never ever. It's the weirdest thing ever. Look, whatever it is that you wanted to ask me, go ask your father. Okay? He just walked in, so yay. Now, this is not... Hey. I don't want to hear anything. I'm busy recording here. So, it's the thing about live podcasts. Like, I can't edit this stuff out. 13 years, I'm telling you, 13 years behind a microphone. And I've seen people being chased outside. And I've never been distracted or even, stopped my conversation. I've seen people fall on the floor, and I never stopped. I continued speaking. But today, just my daughter one time, and then my husband the second time. There's just so much distraction going on. I'm losing my train of thought. It's the weirdest thing ever. I've never experienced this. So it's important to talk about your insecurities. Get that out of the way. Now, like I said, I've been saving the best for last. This is one of those things, like I said, it's very uncomfortable. Because that's what we're doing this month of love. We're going to be talking about all the things that help our relationships, that build our relationships. We already know where Valentine's Day comes from. And I guess now that we know all that information, now that finally Valentine's Day, it's like we don't care. It's out of our mind, it's out of our sight. It's like we've done it. We've done this already. You understand? That's how I feel. I don't know about you though, but drop us a comment. But like, it's out of my system. But I've been saving this, like I said, the best and the most uncomfortable conversation that you can have with your partner or future partner, or even, and this, like I said, it's really something that's going to happen regardless before the time it becomes serious. And you find some people might be like in a serious relationship, but they're not even aware that they're in a serious relationship themselves. You might find that you are dating somebody who probably thinks that you're a one-night stand. Have you thought about that? You might be seeing somebody who might think that, you're ready to meet their folks, and tomorrow they already got it down to proposing to you. So these are the kind of things that we are going to have to settle from the get-go. And it doesn't have to be from the get-go, like 2 days within seeing each other. It can be done a couple of weeks in, even a week in. It also depends on how much you speak to each other and how much you confront certain topics and situations. You understand what I'm saying? So basically, the most uncomfortable conversation that you may have with your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, in a relationship is having to define your relationship. Drop the mic. Boom. Right? Definitely. Now, you've had the defining the relationship conversation. I mean, if not, seriously, if not, you may actually feel a bit uncomfortable getting especially real about where you're currently at. But this conversation is so important early on. So important. And it gives you both the opportunity to set your goals with each other and actually truly define where you stand. I mean, the fewer questions you have, the closer you'll feel. The more questions you have, the further apart you feel, because you're always questioning whether, This is it. This is not it. It's really that type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? And I find that if you do not get it done very, very early, you might actually risk losing that relationship. Yes, you heard me correct. You might actually lose the relationship. Now, I'm playing this Dream Pop. It's such a cool playlist. And I'm going to play it for you because I've just realized that I've been listening to Rufus Wainwright for maybe that was like the third time. Or it could have been the second time. But I just felt like I heard Rufus Wainwright twice too many times today. But this is really important, and you have to do it really, really early in your relationship. Like, if you don't do this really early in your relationship, you might find that you're going to cross paths. And like I said, the fewer questions that you have, the closer you'll actually feel to each other. So it's really one of those topics that needs to be done and dusted. It's one of those things that you just need to get out of the way. It's just one of those things that you just need to close your eyes and just suck it in and do it. Because if you don't do it, you're going to find yourself at the end of the day regretting a lot of things. And you're going to find yourself that you also made a couple of dumb decisions based on being not sure of really what's going on around you. And you don't need that. So it's very, very important from very early on in the relationship is to define your relationship. And the perfect example to do that is to literally say to your partner, what is this? What's going on here? You know, it's simple. Like, what is this? What's going on here? One, if they get offended, it's only going to be for a short time, because then you'll be like, no, I just want to know what the plans are for you and I. You understand? And most likely they're not going to be offended, and then they're going to say, wow, I think, you know, and that's a good start. That I think is the one that actually leads and opens the door to a conversation where you can both on both sides of the table be able to define the relationship with your eyes, and actually be able to set goals, and actually be able to set limitations, and also actually be able to steer in the same direction. Because before dividing it, one's gonna go left and the other one's gonna go right, and you're gonna think that you're walking together, and then papar, you're gonna realize that you're actually walking on your own, the both of you. So it's really important to do that, to define the relationship. Really, really important. So it's breakfast leftovers, and I believe we've covered all the stuff that I mentioned that we're going to be doing today on wheelies. But I must tell you this as well, you know, especially going back to where we started and how it started, is you have the ability to do everything. It's all in you. Like, it's all in you. You don't need it from somebody else. You don't need it from somebody else, you know, to help you, to define it for you. You, like, to make you aware of what you need and want. You know what you want. You know what you need. You know what drives you. You know how to get stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know all of that. You don't need to get some validation from somebody. But getting validation from somebody or getting help from other people, it's not a bad thing either. Because sometimes we can be so wrapped up in all the negativity that's going on in our lives that we are so, like, we find it impossible, and we are unable of seeing the light within us. So that's why sometimes it's okay, do it. And that's why I do it all the time, because I feel like as people, we don't realize just how awesome we are. We don't realize just how amazing and fantastic we are. We don't realize just how powerful beings we are. I mean, we have the ability to create. Every single thing that you are seeing with your eyes in front of you right now, where you are sitting, is actually created by a fellow human being who is just like you, you know. So there's so many things and that we are capable and able to do, but it's just that we find ourselves in a state of being of you know, not really using our noggins, or not having our noggins switched on to the reality of being able to do it. Now, a noggin is your brain in doing it, you understand? So He's grated. So I find that also sometimes it's so much easier. It's fine. Everyone's just not listening to me today. First was my daughter, now it's my husband. Oh, today's show is just so random. How in line. Oh boy, breakfast leftovers. That's Rosalyn. Oh, are we pushing an hour today? I think so. I think we're pushing an hour. This video is gonna take so long to make for me and the company, but they'll understand. And I'm sure you're having a good time. Are you chilled? How's the show? Let us know in the comments, and please remember to subscribe. Like, subscribe. Can you try say subscribe really fast? Subscribe. Try it. I bet you can't. But it's Rosalyn on Breakfast Leftovers. 14 Feb. Yes. Until we meet again. Tomorrow. I love ya. Tomorrow. You're only a day away. Bye. Ciao.